how to create a website, make website with home web hosting. Hello, step-by-step tutorial shows you how to create website and home web hosting for multiple websites. Make website with free domain name and free SSL certificate using Xampp Server and WordPress. I divided tutorial into subheadings. You can find all helpful links below in the description. But I strongly recommend to follow tutorial step by step to achieve full result and get full functional website. Every step in the video ends with a test. Anyway, feel free to ask me any question. These are the main steps to create and host a website from your home computer. Step 1. Set a static local IP address for your server. Step 2. Install Xampp Server, configure and secure Xampp. Step 3. Get free domain names. Step 4. Change localhost to a domain name, set up virtual hosts on Xampp. Step 5. Point your domain name to your server IP address, port forward your router. Step 6. Create simple PHP page, and connect to MySQL Database, using PHP. Step 7. Download and install WordPress, manual WordPress installation, with high security. Step 8. Get free SSL certificate, and install SSL certificate on Xampp Server. Step 9. Redirect HTTP to HTTPS. Okay, before we start, let's download helpful tools. Notepad++, it is free, fast, and cool file editor. As I mentioned, you can find all helpful links below in the description. Next, let's download and install Opera web browser. It's coming with free VPN, so we can test our website from different network. Enable VPN on Opera web browser. Go to Opera settings. In Advanced tab, select Privacy and Security. Scroll down and find VPN. Tick the button to enable the VPN. Done. Now you can see a blue VPN badge on the left side of the address bar. My IP address has been replaced with a virtual one. You can change virtual location at any time. Okay, let's start. Step 1. Set a static local IP address for your server. Right-click on computer icon, and open Network and Internet Settings. Go to Ethernet. Change adapter options. Go to your local adapter properties. Find and open Internet Protocol version 4, TCP/IPv4. Now, we need to find network configuration. Open Command Prompt. And type ipconfig/all. Hit Enter. This is all info what we need: IP address, subnet mask, default gateway and DNS server. Select Use the following IP address. Enter your new IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway that corresponds with your network setup. Also type DNS server IP address. That's all, let's check it. Okay, IP address has been changed successfully. So, this is my server IP address. Step 2. Install Xampp Server, configure and secure Xampp. Okay, let's download and install Xampp Server. We got a warning. So, just make sure that User Account Control, UAC, is disabled on your system. Type msconfig in the search field to open System Configuration. Go to Tools tab. Select Change UAC Settings. And click Launch. Make sure it's off. If not, drag the slider down to Never Notify, and click OK. Then you can ignore the message. Here, just clear the components you do not want to install. For server, leave Apache and MySQL. For program languages, just leave PHP and PHP-MyAdmin. If you need to install another components, it's up to you. You can change the path, but it's better to leave Xampp installation folder by default. It takes some time, so I will speed up the installation process. Okay, it's very important to allow access for Apache HTTP server, and also for MySQL to communicate through Windows Firewall. So, If you will get this message, make sure to check both networks, private and public, and click Allow Access. If not, you need to add it manually. Okay, let's see how to allow apps to communicate through Windows Firewall. Open Windows Firewall. Go to Allow an app, or featured through Windows Defender Firewall. As you see, Apache HTTP Server is already in the list. If not, you should add both apps manually. HTTPD and MySQLD, both file formats are executable. Here is the path for both apps. Okay, let's do it. Click on Change Settings. Click Allow another app. And browse an app which you want to add. Here is HTTPD file, but to make sure it's executable, we need to change some options. Open Windows File Explorer, and click on View. Go to Options, and click on Change Folder and Search Options. Choose View tab. And uncheck box for Hide extensions for known file types. Okay, now we can see the file type. Okay, I already have this file in the list. So, let me quickly add a second one. Click on Network Types to choose both networks. Select the file, and click Add. Done. Both files added. If you are using any antivirus firewall, you should do the same for it. Okay, let's configure and secure Xampp Server. Start Apache and MySQL and test Xampp Server. Open your web browser, and type localhost. Works fine. You can also find all PHP info here. Let's test HTTPS. Okay, the web browser blocks HTTPS access. It's okay for now, because we haven't installed the valid SSL certificate yet. Okay, let me quickly explain what is HTTP and HTTPS. If we go in Xampp Control Panel, and open Config, Service and Port Settings, we can see Apache ports. Main port, 80. And SSL port, 443. The HTTP works on port number 80. The HTTPS works on port number 443. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is Unsecured Information Exchange Protocol. HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, is Secured Information Exchange Protocol. HTTP and HTTPS are protocols being used to transport information over the Internet. Okay, let's secure Xampp Server. Open web browser and type localhost/phpMyAdmin. Go to User Accounts. Here, you can find all users. First of all, delete unwanted users. By default, the MySQL database provided by Xampp contains two users, root and PMA. The root is the super user, with all privileges and highest access rights. The PMA user is used by the phpMyAdmin application. So we should set passwords for both users to secure database access. Go to Edit Privileges. Then click on Change Password. Type your password twice and click Go. Make sure your password is strong. It must contain symbols, numbers, lowercase and uppercase characters. So, go back to User Accounts, and do the same for all users. Then, when you try to access the phpMyAdmin page, you will get the following errors. So, let's fix it. Go to phpMyAdmin folder. Open config.php file with Notepad. Under the authentication type and info, make these changes. Change config to cookie. Here, enter the same password, which we just created for the root user. Scroll down, and find User for Advanced Features. And here, enter the same password, which we created for the PMA user. Then scroll up, and find Blowfish Secret. Replace Xampp with something else. Enter any string, which has to be not less than 32 characters. It may contain numbers and special characters. Okay, save the file, and try to access phpMyAdmin page. Enter your username and password, and click Go. OK, all errors are fixed. Let's check user accounts. As you see, passwords are set for all users. Make sure you remember the root password, we will use it later, to install WordPress. OK, let's secure phpMyAdmin, change slug, and allow or restrict remote access to phpMyAdmin. Open httpd Xampp file with Notepad. Press Ctrl F on your keyboard, and search for phpMyAdmin. Along the alias, replace phpMyAdmin with something else. Save the file and restart Xampp Server. Then try to access phpMyAdmin page. Object not found, because we changed it to mmkphp, so, let's try with new slug. Works fine. OK, now let's try to access phpMyAdmin page remotely. Access forbidden. So, if you want to allow special user to access phpMyAdmin page remotely, you need to know the user's IP address. Go back to your server, open httpd Xampp file. Under alias, find require local. Add require IP, an IP address of remote computer that you want to allow. You can do this with both private and public IP addresses. Save the file and restart Xampp. OK, let's check it. Works fine. OK, you can also allow access for all, by replacing require local, to following lines, but it's security risk. So, I do not recommend it. Step 3. Get free domain names. In this step just showing how to get subdomain and domain name for free, from different websites. First website is noip.com for subdomain. And second website is freenom.com for domain. I am going to create websites and home web hosting for multiple websites. So, I need 2 domains, but, of course, you can register 2 domains on one of them, it's up to you. Okay, let me quickly register domains for my websites. Okay, when you register and sign in, go to Dashboard. In Hostname section, type your hostname. It will be your website name. In Domain section, under Free Domains, choose a domain name. And click on Add Hostname button. Okay, your domain name has been created. So, this is my first domain. After 30 days, I just need to update it. Okay, let me quickly register second domain on Freenom. I recommend to get free domain from Freenom website. Type your website name and check availability. Get one of these domains, they all are free. Click on Use DNS. Along IP addresses, you have to enter your public IP address. We can also choose the period, how long we need free domain. Okay, then just continue your account registration. Done. This is my second domain. Step 4. Change localhost to a domain name. Set up virtual hosts on Xampp. Once you type localhost in your web browser, this would bring you a web page that lists Xampp-related details. So, how it works? Under Xampp root directory, there is a folder called htdocs. htdocs is the document root directory that is stored on your host server, and that is designated for holding web pages. When someone looks at your website, this is the location they will be accessing. So, that's where you should put your website-related stuff for each website you create. OK, delete default files from htdocs folder, and create new folders for your domains. Let's index both domains. The index page is the URL or local file that automatically loads when a web browser starts. In a standard website, the index file is usually the page that your domain URL points to. In other words, index is the main or home page of a website or an app. The index file extensions have to be PHP or HTML, depends on which language code is used. You can find download links of all helpful codes below in the description. We will talk about the details of this code later. OK, let's add a temporary index page for a WordPress website also. OK, now we need to redirect a static local IP address to domain name. Open hosts file with Notepad. Type your localhost, loopback IP address. Then, press Tab key on keyboard, and type your domain name. Do the same with server's local IP address. And repeat step for second domain. Save hosts file. The notepad may ask you to relaunch it in administrator mode. Just click yes, and save it again. Let's check what we have. Okay, now we have to create the virtual hosts for each domain. Open httpdv hosts conf file with notepad. Delete everything in the file. And add the following code. Remind you that you can find download links of all helpful codes below in the description. Okay, let me quickly explain this code. We have two parts of code. First part of code is for HTTP, and second is for HTTPS. Okay, first line is virtual host with port 80. Most web servers use port 80 as their default port. If your internet service provider blocks port 80, you can find tutorial how to change port in Xampp on my channel, or link below in the description. Document root, the folder where files of a site will exist. In our case, these are two folders that we created in the htdocs folder, and name them domain names. Server name, it is the URL for our virtual host. The error log directive sets the name of the file to which the server will log any errors it encounters. The custom log directive is used to log requests to the server. Directory, it is the directory of our virtual host. In second part for HTTPS, virtual host use secure port 443. These 4 lines are used for SSL certificate. As you see, I commented by putting hash mark in front of the lines. To disable any configuration instruction, or add your own comments, just include a hash mark at the start of each line. To enable one of these configuration instructions, all you have to do is remove the hash mark. So, we activate it later, when we install the SSL certificate. For now, we just need to replace your domain to our domain name. Press Ctrl F on your keyboard. Type your domain in a search bar. Click on Find Next. Then, select Replace tab. And replace all selected your domain to your domain name. Let me quickly do the same for second website. Okay, I need to copy the code for the second website again, and enter my second domain name, instead of your domain. Done. Save the file. Restart Xampp Server, and let's check what we have. First website is okay. Let's check second website. Second website okay also. Step 5. Point your domain name to your server IP address, port forward your router. If you remember, we configure Opera web browser to use VPN. So, let's try to access our website from outside, using VPN. As you see, we cannot reach the website. So, to fix this, we need to forward port 80, and port 443. As I mentioned, port 80 is for HTTP, and port 443 is for HTTPS. Okay, first of all, you need to access your router. Open command prompt. Type ipconfig. Find default gateway IP address. Copy and paste it into your web browser. If you don't know default username and password of your router, you can find it on this website, portforward.com. Click on Router Passwords. Scroll down, and find your router model. Mine is ZTE. Scroll down, and you will find default username and password list of your model. If default username and password doesn't work, you may need to reset router to default settings. Here is a step-by-step guide. Also you can find guide how to correctly forward port for your router. Okay, let me quickly forward ports. Open ports are used to allow a connection into your home network from the internet. Done. Let's check it. Port 80 is opened successfully. Let's check port 443. Port 443 is opened successfully. Let's visit websites now. First one is OK. As you see, we successfully published both websites. So, now everyone with internet can access both websites. To make sure, let's test websites from another computer. This is my second virtual machine, with different network. I will use my Android hotspot. Step 6. Create simple PHP page, and connect to MySQL Database, using PHP. Okay, we have already created a PHP page. This is our index page. Okay, let me quickly explain this code. A PHP file normally contains HTML tags, and some PHP scripting code. Here is an example of a simple PHP file, with a PHP script, that uses a built-in PHP function, echo, to output the text, "Hello World" on a web page. The doc type HTML declaration defines this document to be HTML5. The HTML element is the root element of an HTML page. The body element contains the visible page content. The H1 element defines a large heading. Okay, let's connect index.php page to MySQL database, using PHP code. Open web browser, and go to phpMyAdmin. Create a new MySQL database for your website. Name your new database. Choose collation to UTF-8 General CI. Okay, database has been created. Then, add the DB connection PHP file to your website folder. Remind you that you can find download links of all helpful codes and files below in the description. Open DB connection PHP file with Notepad. Okay, let me quickly explain this code. We should fill up this part of code with database credentials. This is just comment. PHP has two types of comments: single line comment and multiple line comment. To do a single line comment, type # or // at the start of each line, and all text to the right will be ignored by PHP interpreter. The multiple line PHP comment begins with / with star, and ends with star with /, so all code between is ignored. Okay, this part of code creates connection to database, using this credentials, which we should fill up. And this part of code, which is commented for now, is checking connection. Okay, let's fill in the database credentials. DB name will be the name of your database, which we have created. DB user will be the username that is root. DB pass will be the password, which is the same that you used to access your phpMyAdmin. DB host will be the host where your server is running, that is localhost. Okay, save the DB connection PHP file. So, now we should use include function to copy all source code from DB connection file into the index.php file. Open index.php file. On the top of your code, add this line to include DB connection PHP file. In other words, the include function is used to put data of one PHP file into another PHP file. Save the index.php file, and let's check it. If you will not get any warning, it means that your connection with the database is successful. But to make sure, we can check database connection using source code from DB connection file, which is counting database tables. So, to make this code working, we have to uncomment it, delete multi-line comment marks, and save the file. We got a message, there are no tables. That's right, we don't have tables in our database. So, let me quickly create tables in database. Okay, this is the first table, let's create the second. Second table is ready. So, now we have two tables into our database. Works fine, we successfully connected to the MySQL database, using PHP code. Step 7. Download and install WordPress, manual WordPress installation, with high security. Open web browser, and download WordPress. You can also find download link below in the description. right-click on WordPress folder, and extract it. Before WordPress unzip, let's modify Xampp Server settings. By default, WordPress and hosting servers limit the file upload size because of technical reasons. For example, if you need to upload files that are larger than the preset limit, you can get an error, and the operation may fail. This limitation also applies when you want to upload a theme or plugin directly from the WordPress admin dashboard. So, in order to avoid this problem, it is recommended to increase max upload file size and memory limit. For that, we need to modify PHP-ini file. Open PHP-ini file with Notepad. Increase max upload file size. Search for upload max file size. And adjust it by your needs. 64 megabytes is okay for me, anyway we can change it at any time. Okay, now let's increase PHP memory limit. Search for memory limit. And adjust it by your needs. This defines how much memory is allocated for PHP. This number should be equal or higher than the upload max file size. 256 megabytes should be enough. After this changes, you must save the file and restart Xampp Server. Okay, let's create new user account and database for WordPress website. Open web browser and go to phpMyAdmin. First, let's create new user account for WordPress website. Go to User Accounts, and click on Add User Account. Then fill up login information. Username, leave text field, and add username. Host name, change to local. Type your password twice. Make sure your password is strong. It must contain symbols, numbers, lowercase and uppercase characters. Global privileges, check all. So, we grant to the new user the rights of the administrator. Hit Go to save changes. The new user with admin rights has been created. Okay, now let's create new database for WordPress website. In Database list, click New. Name your new database. Choose collation to UTF-8, General CI. Hit Create to create website database. Database has been created. Okay, copy all files from WordPress folder into your website directory. We can delete temporary index file from WordPress website folder. Paste all WordPress default files here. Then we need to connect WordPress website to database. Open the wp-config sample PHP file with Notepad. Fill in the database credentials. Database name will be the name of your database, which we have created. Username will be the username which we have created. Password will be the password which we set for the new user, the same that you use to access your PHP-MyAdmin. Okay, for security reasons, we should generate and add unique authentication keys and salts. Copy and paste the following link into your web browser. Generate new keys by refreshing the web page. And replace your new keys with existing one. And the last, to improve security, we have to change WordPress database table prefix. You can only change it to letters, numbers and underscores. Just add some numbers and letters. That's all. Save the file as wp-config.php. Open your web browser and go to your website. If you filled out your database credentials correctly, you have to see this page. Choose the language and click Continue. Enter your website information and hit Install WordPress. Done. WordPress website has been created. Step 8. Get free SSL Certificate and install SSL Certificate on Xampp Server. Okay, if we visit our websites, we can see that the connection to the website is not secure. Let's try to visit website with HTTPS. The website can't be reached. Okay, let's install free SSL certificates on our websites. You can find the link to this website below in the description. Enter the domain name of your website in this field to secure it. Keep in mind that the World Wide Web version does not work on subdomains. Then click on Create Free SSL Certificate button. OK, we have three choices to get a free SSL certificate. First, automatic FTP verification. Second, manual verification. And third, manual verification with DNS. I'll show you all three methods. Let's start with automatic FTP verification. So, this is easiest method. If you have FTP server installed, you can find a link to the tutorial on how to install and configure an FTP server on Xampp below in the description. Or you can skip this method and get an SSL certificate with manual verification. OK, start FTP server. Go to the SSL for free website and click on automatic FTP verification button. Enter your FTP server credentials in the following fields. And click on Download Free SSL Certificate button. Wait a few seconds until the SSL certificate is generated. SSL certificates have been created successfully, so we can download it. OK, I will cancel it and show you second method with full installation on Xampp Server. Enter your domain name and click on Create Free SSL Certificate button. Go to Manual Verification. Click on Manually Verify Domain button. Then go to your website folder. OK, let's do it step by step. Download the verification file. Create a folder in your domain named well-known. OK, Windows Explorer does not allow you to create folders with a dot in front. So, let's try create folder with command prompt. Type cd and path to your domain folder. Hit enter. Then type mkdir and the name of the folder you want to create. Hit enter. That's all, folder has been created. OK, create another folder in well-known, named Acme Challenge. Then add the downloaded verification file to the Acme Challenge folder. Okay, we have verification file in the right place. Then verify uploaded file by visiting the following link in your browser. But make sure that you do it from outside your network. So, use the Opera web browser and make sure that VPN is on. If you see only verification code and nothing else, like this one, it means that you did everything well and your domain was successfully verified. You can double check by viewing page source and make sure there is only verification code on the page. Okay, go back to the SSL website. Click on Download SSL Certificate button to generate SSL certificates. SSL certificates have been created successfully. So, we can download it. Okay, let's install SSL Certificate on Xampp Server. Open virtual hosts file with Notepad. These paths show where the existing certificates are located. So, we just need to replace them. Okay, open certificate folder. Let's start from the first certificate. We need to create folder named SSL cab. Okay, move the CA bundle cert to this folder. Second and third, we already have these folders, so just replace the certs. When you finish replacing certificates, to make it work, you have to uncomment this part of code. OK, save the file, restart Xampp Server, and check your website. As you see, connection to this website is secure, with valid certificate. OK, let's get SSL certificate using third method, manual verification with DNS. And after I'll show you how to redirect HTTP to HTTPS. Let's try a third method with a different domain. Go to SSL for free website. Enter your domain name, and click on Create Free SSL Certificate button. Click on Manual Verification with DNS. Then manually verify domain. Go into the DNS management page that your domain use. OK, now we need to create DNS records. Just follow the steps. Done. Save changes. Records added successfully. OK, then we need to verify DNS records by going to the following links. If you set TTL to 300, you must wait 300 seconds before records will get updated. So, I'll skip these 5 minutes. After verification, click on Download SSL Certificate button to generate SSL certificates. SSL certificates have been created successfully. Download all SSL certificate files. Okay, let's install SSL Certificate for second website. Go to the following path. And create certificate folder for second domain. Then move all certificates to this folder. Now we need to connect the certificate folder to the domain. Open virtual hosts file with Notepad. Change all following paths to the certificate folder, which we have created for the second domain. At the end of the path, just type \, and use the down or up arrow to select the desired file. Once you change paths, you have to uncomment this part of code to make it work. Okay, save the file, restart Xampp Server, and check your website. Works fine. redirect HTTP to HTTPS. After an SSL certificate is installed, a secure connection HTTPS is not forced by default. Normally, when visitors type a domain name in a browser, they get on unencrypted HTTP pages. We can redirect HTTP to HTTPS, so visitors will automatically get on encrypted pages. Okay, let's redirect HTTP to HTTPS using htaccess file. Go to your domain folder. Create new text document file. Add the following code to the file. Remind you that you can find download links of all useful codes below in the description. Replace example.com with your domain name. Save file as .htaccess. htaccess file has been created successfully. Restart Xampp Server and check your website. Done, works fine. As you see, when you enter only the domain name, it is automatically redirected to HTTPS. Okay, now let's redirect the WordPress website to HTTPS. Open the WordPress domain folder. The htaccess file should be there, because it is automatically generated. If not, you already know how to create it. So, just open it with Notepad and add the code to the beginning of the file. Replace example.com with your domain name. Save the file, restart Xampp Server, and check your website. works fine. The tutorial how to create website, make website with home web hosting was successfully completed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and get more great tips.